like This Is Fight Club if Tyler Durden was a frog. Hello! As we're a little over halfway through the year, I thought I would review all the books that I've read so far without like making any notes or looking at the reviews that I made at the time about them. I'm not very good at explaining why I like things, so it's an exercise in trying to get better at that, I suppose. Anyway, here we go. So the first book I read this year was Service by John Tottenham. This was at the recommendation of my dad, who read an interesting review about it in the New York Review. Liked it. I think that if you like complaining or reading about people who moan about life, you would enjoy this. The sort of main character narrator in this book is so insufferable, but you sort of end up being like, wow, maybe I'm just like this man. So I would recommend it. I thought it was good. The writing style is good. Next I read Engagement. I honestly would try and pronounce this name, but I think I would butcher it. This is a Swedish translation. It's like I would like to say it's like the Swedish Sally Rooney. It's got a Sally Rooney vibe to it, in like it's like a cynical romance about these two characters that meet when they're young, in like their very early 20s, and it sort of follows them through like a few years of their life, and about how they sort of don't fall into engagement, or like they somehow manage not to get married even though that's sort of thrust upon them in lots of different ways. And it's fun because it's like a dysfunctional relationship. Like I said, it's cynical romance. I really enjoyed it. It's got a very like straightforward, not flowery style, which I enjoy and feels like a choice. So yeah, definitely recommend this. I think I gave this 5 stars. I definitely remember really enjoying it at the time. Then I read Invisible Cities. Evan got this for me for Christmas. It's really hard to explain what the form is for this. I'm just going to read you the blurb. Actually, no, maybe I won't read you the blurb because Evan says it's better if you don't know anything about it. But I did not really enjoy this. I don't like the style of it. It was quite choppy. It doesn't sort of take a linear narrative. It's difficult to follow. That isn't to say I didn't think there was some beautiful writing in this. It just, the form really wasn't for me because it's not like a traditional novel. And in this case, it just didn't work for me. But I'm glad that I tried it. Next we have Catching Fire by Susanna Collins. Obviously I loved this. I went back to it because I had read Sunrise on the Reaping not that long before, at least last summer I read it, and I wanted to go back and traumatize myself knowing what I know now. But yeah, this is the best one in the trilogy. If you like The Hunger Games, I could go back and read this 1,000,000 times, and I often do go back to it, so obviously I enjoy this. Also my cover's fun and sparkly. Then we've got Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel. This book was flipping great. I like literally bought it because I just like the sound of the blurb, and then I read it and I was like, what the hell? Instant new favourite. This is like in my Letterboxd top 4 of books. I recommend it to everybody who, I don't know, wants to get into reading. It was just like instantly sucked me in. Like really beautiful writing, really memorable characters. Like the plot was so well structured and the pacing was so good, and it just kept me instantly gripped, and yeah, it left me thinking about it for like days and days afterwards. In fact, I still think about it now. So definitely read this. I would recommend it to literally anybody. Then we've got What We Talk About When We Talk About Love by Raymond Carver. This is a collection of short stories, novellas. The theme link is it feels quite weak, but they're really like nice stories. Some of them really stick with you. They've got this, like, his writing style is again very sort of like to the point, straightforward. It doesn't hug you. It's quite like sparse, but again, that's like a style choice that I really enjoy. If you want something short to get you out of a reading slump, that's what I used it for. I would recommend this. Then I read All the Pretty Horses by Cormac McCarthy. This was my first Cormac McCarthy book, and I was really longing for something kind of westerny. I wanted a cowboy book. I really enjoyed it. His writing style is very interesting. There's not a lot of dialogue, and then when there is, there's not like quotation marks to point that out to you. And also there is like not a lot of punctuation in there, so it's kind of a difficult one to follow, like difficult one to know who is talking or what's being talked about. But once you get into the writing style, once you get acquainted with it, it's an amazing story with like really interesting plot, really grips you, takes you on a journey. I'm looking forward to reading more Cormac McCarthy now that I sort of have a better understanding of his writing style. If you want a western, hot or sweaty, rusty book for the summer, I would recommend All the Pretty Horses. Then I read Piranesi by Susanna Clarke. This I read at the recommendation of Tom Betteridge, my boyfriend, this is his favourite book, so I read it.
Because it's his favourite book.
And it's crazy because it's so short, but it really packs a punch. It takes you from A to Z, but like you don't even realise the journey you've gone on in the middle, and suddenly you're reading a completely new book. And every single chapter, the chapters are short, and every single chapter absolutely grips you. And the setting is really otherworldly and amazing. Yeah, and the characters are great, and I just think the format makes it super digestible and easy to enjoy. I honestly liked everything about this, and it really helped me get out of a reading slump when I sort of didn't want to read anything. So I recommend this 1000%. Then I went on a little bit of I was again, sort of in a reading slump, like I've been finding it hard to read this year. So I read a bunch of my short stories that I had on my shelf. So I had like a couple days where I just read a short story in a day. I started with Super Frog Saves Tokyo. I honestly only bought this because it had a frog on the cover and a frog in the title. And obviously I'm into frogs. It was funny. It was kind of like, I think my review of it was like, this is Fight Club if Tyler Durden was a frog. So take with that what you will. It was fun and sort of mystical. It's like a kid's story, but it can't be a kid's story because there's like weird theming in there. Then I read Brokeback Mountain. This was the short story that inspired the movie, I believe. It's literally like, I want to say like 50 pages, and like I thought it would, made me feel sad and sort of borderline traumatized me all over again. It's rough, it's gritty, but it's beautiful, and it's really short, so if you fancy giving it a read, it will take you like an hour, maybe less, to finish. Then I read The Nose by Nikolai Gogol. It's absurdist, it's fun, it's got a sort of a writing style that's very of the time. Yeah, I mean, like satirical and fun. It's about a guy who loses his nose and goes to find it. Then I read Half His Age by Jeanette McCurdy. After reading I'm Glad My Mum Died, I wanted to give this a go. Again, this one had that same writing style that I've been talking about a lot, where it's like, it's not flowery, it doesn't hold your hand, it's very much like this happened and then this happened and I feel this way about it. And at first it didn't quite read as that being a choice. It felt very much like, oh, maybe she can't write. But actually as it went along, I sort of decided, okay, yeah, no, this has been selected for the story, and this is how she wants us to view it. I found this book really interesting. It was very spicy. I think you're sort of supposed to forget that the dynamic is inherently wrong, which I did in moments and then remembered, and it sort of leaves a bit of a sense of disgust. All in all, I think I gave this like 3.5 stars. I really enjoyed it. I found it easy to read cover to cover, and yeah, for that it's a decent book, but like I think it could have been better. Then I read Ray Bradbury's Fahrenheit 451 after hearing so much about it. It's a friend of mine's favourite book, so I read it for that reason. I read it in a day where I didn't have any plans, so I read the whole thing in a day. It's such an engaging book, especially at the moment in the way that our world's falling apart. I think it speaks a lot to my sense of doom about that. I really like dystopian fiction. This is sort of one of the, I would say, like pillars of dystopian fiction. Ray Bradbury's writing style is amazing. It's beautiful without feeling overwritten. I would recommend this to anybody who's trying to get into reading. It's sort of universally good and I think would engage a lot of people. Then I read Seduction and Betrayal by Elizabeth Hardwick. This is a collection of essays about different women in literature. It sort of goes through women that actually existed, like there's an essay about the Brontes, then there's an essay about different women in Ibsen's plays. So there's one about Hedda Gabler, for example, and that one was really interesting. And then there's one about Sylvia Plath. But if you're interested in learning a bit more about these people, if you already know who they are, then that's good. I found that the essays about people that I didn't initially know about, they were less engaging because contextually I wasn't quite being able to imagine what she was trying to say to me. But I think I can go away, do some more research and come back to it. And I think that it was great to feel like I was learning new stuff and gaining a new perspective on these women that I feel like I know a little bit about. But yeah, I'm trying to read more non-fiction, so I read this and it was interesting. And then I finished this book yesterday, Sea of Tranquility, again by Emily St. John Mandel, same woman who wrote Station 11. So I was like, I loved that, I'll read this. And didn't disappoint. I'm gonna go and read all her books now. She's obviously got something. I'm not gonna say anything about the plot. Not that I think I've really said anything about any of the plots in any of these books, to be honest. But it's like, I would say it's sort of sci-fi realism, futuristic. It feels life-affirming. It will move you. I imagine it moved me a lot. It's got really clever pacing and really clever plotting, and her writing style is just wonderful, and I think everyone should get to know her. I've been talking for 13 minutes. That's all the books I've read so far this year. If you made it this far, thank you. I'm sure it was really dull. My current read is I'm going to reread Call Me By Your Name, and then I'm going to read Find Me afterwards, because it's just hot outside and I feel like it's perfect, and that book is so important to me, and so I'm going to come home in a sense. Anyway, I've been Maya Lucy. Have a good day. Bye.